In the gray blur of early mornings, Clara walked the same cracked sidewalk to her office, her heels clicking past the same faces. Most were strangers, but one wasn't. An old man, hunched and weathered, sat against the brick wall of the corner deli. His name, she'd learned, was Tom. His clothes were threadbare, his beard tangled, and his eyes carried a quiet weight, like they'd seen too much. Every day for months, Clara stopped to offer him something small, a warm coffee, a sandwich wrapped in foil, a scarf when the wind turned bitter. She'd slip a note into each gift, simple words like, "You're not alone," or "Keep warm, Tom." He'd nod, murmur a thank you, and she'd move on, her heart a little lighter. Her coworkers didn't understand. At the office, a sleek advertising firm where ambition hung thick in the air, Clara's gestures were met with raised eyebrows and stifled laughs. "Why waste your money on that guy?" her colleague Mark asked one morning, stirring his latte. "He's probably just scamming you. But he's not even homeless." Others chimed in, calling her naive, saying she was throwing away her hard-earned cash on a lost cause. The deli owner, too, grumbled when Clara bought extra food, muttering about encouraging vagrants. Even her best friend, Lila, questioned her. "Clara, you're too soft. People like that choose to live that way. You can't save everyone." Clara would just smile, shrug, and say, "It's just a sandwich." But their words stung, planting seeds of doubt she fought to ignore. Tom never asked for anything. He'd accept her gifts with a quiet dignity, sometimes sharing a fleeting story, a memory of a lake he'd fished as a boy, or the smell of his mother's bread. Clara sensed there was more to him, a depth hidden beneath the grime and solitude, but she never pried. She didn't need to know his story to see his humanity. Still, she wondered about the scars on his hands, the way his eyes clouded when buses roared by, as if the noise carried him somewhere far away. The judgment peaked as Clara's firm prepared for its annual gala, a glitzy event where clients and city bigwigs mingled under chandeliers. Clara was up for a promotion, her campaign for a major client earning praise. The gala was her moment to shine, to prove she belonged in the firm's sharp-edged world. Her coworkers whispered about her hobby with Tom, joking that she'd bring him as her plus one. Imagine Clara waltzing in with her pet hobo. Mark snickered at a team meeting. Clara's cheeks burned, but she held her tongue. She didn't need their approval to do what felt right. The night of the gala arrived, the ballroom aglow with gold light and clinking glasses. Clara, in a simple navy dress, stood nervously as her boss praised her work to a crowd of suits. She scanned the room, half expecting another jab from Mark or a skeptical glance from Lila, who was there as her guest. Then the doors swung open, and a hush fell. A group of strangers entered, men and women in crisp uniforms, medals glinting on their chests, followed by a cluster of civilians with solemn faces. At their center was Tom, but not as Clara knew him. His beard was trimmed, his posture straight, his eyes clear and piercing. He wore a worn but clean suit, and a single medal hung on his chest, catching the light. The room froze as an older woman from the group stepped forward, her voice steady but thick with emotion. "We're here to honor Colonel Thomas Everett, a man who saved 23 lives in a single night during the war." She recounted his story, a young officer who'd led his unit through an ambush, carrying wounded soldiers to safety under fire, earning a Silver Star. But the war had broken him. Loss, his friends, his family, his sense of purpose, had driven him to the streets, where he'd hidden from the world, ashamed of the man he'd become. The group, veterans and families of those he'd saved, had been searching for him for years. Clara's heart pounded. She glanced at her coworkers, their faces pale, mouths open. Mark's coffee cup trembled in his hand. Lila's eyes glistened, her hand covering her mouth. The woman continued, her gaze finding Clara. "We found Tom because of you," she said. "Your kindness, those meals, those notes kept him going. He told us how you saw him, really saw him, when no one else did. Your compassion gave him the strength to face us again, to let us bring him home." Tom stepped forward, his voice rough but clear. "Clara, I was lost. I didn't think I deserved to be found. But you reminded me I was still human." Tears streamed down Clara's face as the room erupted in applause. The veterans and families surrounded Tom, embracing him, some sobbing as they thanked him for their loved ones' lives. Clara's boss, usually stoic, wiped his eyes. Mark approached her, his voice low. "I was wrong, Clara. I didn't know." Lila hugged her tightly, whispering, "You were right all along." In the weeks that followed, the ripple effects of that night spread. Tom moved into a small apartment, supported by the veterans group, and began sharing his story at local shelters, inspiring others to rebuild. Clara's coworkers stopped mocking her. Mark started volunteering at a food bank, admitting her example had changed him. The deli owner, shamed by the reveal, began offering free coffee to anyone in need. Clara's promotion came through, but more than that, she felt a quiet vindication. Her small acts, so easily dismissed, had mattered. Clara still walked the same sidewalk, but now she noticed others pausing to help, a teenager sharing his gloves, a woman buying an extra coffee. Tom's story, and her role in it, had spread through the city, a reminder that heroes could hide in plain sight, and kindness could uncover them. One morning, she found a note tucked under her office door, in Tom's shaky handwriting. "You saw me when I couldn't see myself. Thank you, Clara, for giving me back my life." She folded it carefully, her heart full, knowing that sometimes the smallest gestures could change everything. The emotional weight of that gala night lingered, not just for Clara, but for everyone who'd witnessed it. It was a lesson carved deep. Never judge a soul by their surface, for beneath the wear of life might lie a hero, waiting for a kind hand to help them rise. Clara's quiet compassion had not only saved Tom, but had sparked a chain of goodness, proving that even in a world quick to judge, a single act of kindness could echo for Eve.